This is another episode of 40 Under 40s, powered by Urban Arts Magazine. But we've been talking to some amazing, dope, inspirational artists that have been doing some amazing things in the arts: theater, dance, music, film, television, literary, and visual art. And today we're going to hit that last one, that visual arts. We have a dope artist out of the Washington, D.C. area. Help me welcome Shawn Perkins, AKA SPThePlug. What's up, bro? How are you?
Hey, how's it going? How's it going, man? Glad to be here.
Yes, sir. Thank you for being here. Yo, are you born and raised DC?
No, I'm from Michigan, Detroit area, and that's where I grew up at, born and raised. I actually came out of DC to go to school when I transferred to Howard. So
Nice.
out to the area, yeah.
Nice. HU. All my friends are HU.
You know.
Yeah. I went to that other HBCU down in Atlanta. I went to the other one. Yeah.
Okay, you was at Morehouse?
I was at Morehouse. Yes, sir.
Nice, man.
Yes,
I love
sir.
Morehouse. Love Atlanta. So yeah, that's dope.
For
Man.
sure,
Hey,
bro.
we all family. You know what I mean?
All family. We used to come up to Howard and hang out for y'all homecoming. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I actually been to Morehouse Spelman homecoming a few years ago, right before COVID. That was the first time going down there for homecoming. That was dope, man. It was a dope experience.
Yep. I was there.
Hey, you probably brushed past me, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm sure, man. I'm sure. Right. It never knew. How long have you been a visual artist? Like, as a kid, were you picking up sketchbooks and like cardboard and drawing, or like did it happen later in life?
So the first thing that first memory that I have of drawing was actually on my grandma's leather couch with magic markers. I drew Bart Simpson. Got in trouble for that one, but I mean, in hindsight, that's where it all started. You know what I mean? And it grew into, my favorite cartoons, whether it was Ninja Turtles or something off Sesame Street or Power Rangers. I would always try to draw the characters in class on the back of my worksheets, and always draw, crayon color, and then eventually led into painting once I got into college and in the later years of high school.
Nice. Did you study art at Howard?
I did. I was a graphic design major, which of course in the School of Fine Arts, and we had to take drawing, painting classes, 2-dimensional concepts, 3D concepts, and then we started taking the computer art courses like graphic design, newsletter, magazine design. So definitely was all arts based, and that's kind of where I developed like the graphic side of my skill set. But it's always had a passion for the fine art side of it.
Gotcha. So do you find yourself now doing more painting? You do more graphic design? Where do you find yourself at?
So I actually quit I got a job doing 3D modeling out of college down in Texas. I was down in Louisville, right outside of Dallas.
Okay.
And I was doing that for a few months, and I just felt like I felt like I had a desk office job. And so I was like, money wise, it was good, but it wasn't fulfilling for me.
Yeah.
I didn't see myself doing it for too much longer. So I transitioned back to DC, and, I had to take jobs that I didn't necessarily want to make ends meet. But at the same time, when I would get off work, I would paint. I just would paint, as much as I could, honestly. And so that's what kind of blossomed into my fine art career. And it's funny how things go full circle, because now that I'm, full-time artist, there's been opportunities that came my way that are on the graphic side of the arts. And so it's much more, it's better for me as just a person and doing what I love to pick and choose, when I want to tap into the graphic design. But art, like the fine art aspect, painting mostly, is where I find my joy at.
Nice, man. Nice. So like you talked about making that transition from Texas back to DC. How hard was that to have that that conversation with yourself? Like, yo, I'm about to let go of this this good paying full-time job and then go be a starving artist and pursue my passion. What was that conversation like?
It was tough because there's a sense of stability and having a steady paycheck coming in, and I knew I was gonna have to give that up. and then moving back to DC. You know, DC is one of the most expensive cities to live in the whole country. So you add that aspect to it. I was down in Texas where, you know, everything's a little bit, you know, a little bit less, a little bit cheaper, a little bit easier to make things happen. And so, but the reason why I came back to DC is because I did have a solid network here. I was familiar with the area. I also have some family in the area. So I knew if I needed to go get a sandwich or something, man, I could pull up on Unc or somebody.
Right.
But it was tough. It was tough because, you know, I knew it was something that I had to do because it was something that kind of, you know, at the end of the day was a little scary for myself. And I feel like, you know, those opportunities, those chances, you only have so many different, you know, points in your life to make those opportunities become real. And I felt like at that time, you know, it was the best time to make a change rather than being stuck there for 5, 6 years and then trying to do it, you know, before I hit 30. It was just easier. Well, not easier, but it was more ideal for me to take that opportunity, you know, fresh out of school and just trying to make something happen.
Nice, man. Nice. So what's your style? What do you consider your style? Do you consider like realism? Are you more abstract? What's your art style?
Uh, I always struggle with this question because I tend to dabble with different styles.
Okay.
My favorite artist is Salvador Dali, so I'm highly
Mm.
driven by surrealism.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I do like that aspect of really I guess showcasing my skill set in terms of, you know, how detailed I can be or how
Hmm.
much I can think outside the box. But I do also enjoy the abstract side of things where I might do a whole abstract background and have something surrealistic or realistic in the foreground.
Nice.
It really depends, I guess, on the scope of what I'm working on. You know, I get commissioned to do some projects, so a lot of the project guidelines are in the hands of the owner or whoever's commissioning the project. Versus
Right.
when I'm working on stuff, you know, by myself, like original work, it tends to be based more like in realism, contemporary side of things.
Gotcha. Do you think that your schooling at like, going through middle school, high school up to Howard really developed you to be where you are right now? Do you think that going to school really helped you get to the place you are
For,
now?
for sure, I would say in most part due to the professors and the teachers that I had along the way. So, my high school art teacher, Mr. Manning, rest in peace. He would kind of just like encourage me to. He would let me do basically whatever I wanted in art class. Like all the other kids would be doing a project, and he'd be like, "I want you to do something different." And so he
Mm.
kind of gave me that freedom
Yeah.
to really express myself. That, of course, led into college. I was initially going to school at a college in Michigan called Albion College. It's a fine arts liberal arts school in Western Michigan, and my art professor there, Doug Groening, he was another professor that really um, he taught me like the basics. Like he brought me back to like, you know, learning how to draw things in perspective, learning how to, you know, the different gradients of shadow and things of
Mhm.
that nature. So it really broke it down to where I felt like classically trained. Uh,
Wow.
and then move fast forward to going into Howard, I got to dabble in the whole computer side of it, the digital aspect of art.
Yeah.
And so I really feel like, especially at Howard, in the graphic design program there, had lots of great professors that I can still pull up on to this day. And you know, it's like a family vibe, and you know, they've
Yeah.
always been there to mentor me or help me, you know, with different projects throughout the course of my career. And I think all those combined together really helped shape, you know, the artist that I am today. And I wouldn't have been that type of artist had it not been for them.
Makes sense, man. Makes sense. So it's funny to hear a lot of people talk about whether they went to school or not, like with their art. So it's just interesting. I like to ask that question.
Yeah.
So you talked about being commissioned for projects. Like, so is how do you get commissioned for a project? Do you bid for it? Do people put your name in a hat, or like how does that process work?
For most like mural work, it's it's
Hmm.
a it's a submission process. So they kind of want to see your body of work thus far. You know, your resume, your artist write up, and then you know, it's basically a competition from that point
Gotcha.
with you amongst other artists. in other senses, some people may reach out to me for a personal painting, you know, of a past loved one, or a birthday present, or wedding gift, or live painting. People will
Nice.
reach out to me for that, and also on a live painting aspect, a lot of events, especially before COVID, you know, South by Southwest,
Oh yeah.
you know, different panels or forums that may be held. They'll
Hmm.
have an artist paint live during the presentation or during the forum to add another element of entertainment. And so
Right.
it really is one of those things where it could be anything. It just depends on you know, who's reaching out to you and what their functionality is for what they're trying to do.
Gotcha. That makes sense, man. So when well, not when, but murals really blew up when the Black Lives Matter movement kind of took off too.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were painting these huge murals talking about or with the theme of Black Lives Matter or Black excellence in there. Do you think that's a sustainable thing? Do you think it's going to, in the next 10 to 20 years, we're still going to be doing huge murals like that?
Yeah, I mean, even before the BLM movement really, you know, took a stronghold on, you know, the country, there were a lot of mural opportunities. I guess it kind of depends on where you're located at. I
Okay.
know, excuse me, I know in DC there's a lot of new infrastructure going up, a lot of new buildings, and you know, all these new developments. They require artwork, whether it's indoor murals or indoor paintings or outdoor murals. You know, it's kind of like the new vibe, I would say, for a lot of new developments. And then, you know, this is based on location, so it really depends on where you're at. You know, if you're in the middle of the if you're in the middle of Kansas, it might not be like that. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Here they're building stuff like Legos out here, so it's just like
Yeah.
the artwork just comes with it. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
I feel
So,
blessed to be kind of like in the epicenter, even though you know it's a lot of it is gentrification, but it's like I'm
yeah.
make the best of it and find, you know, opportunities for me to at least, you know, represent for us in these new spaces. And so I did see an uptick during the BLM
Mhm.
movement. I was part of a group of artists. Kiana was one of them. We
Yes.
were all down in Black Lives Matter Plaza here in DC, painting
Right.
storefronts and businesses that were shut down and boarded up.
Right.
We took these blank plywoods, and we would make, you know, beautiful art on it to give
Yes.
something people would look at and also pass on the message that we were trying to drive, you know, forward. So I've
Right.
seen both sides of the spectrum. I think it's only going to continue to grow, honestly.
Nice. What was the name of that collective you're part of with Kiana?
The DMV League of Artists.
Yes, DMV League of Artists, man. So powerful, powerful group. I've been on your website. I've talked to Kiana, who is like, I think she's the founder or like whoever coordinates everything for that. Shout out to Kiana Clark. Check out her as well. But how important is it to have a group of people who are all focused minded, focused on the same thing, who are working together collectively to do art? How important is that?
It's extremely important because really, I mean, in life, you can never do anything by yourself. You're gonna need somebody there along the way to either help you get to where you're going, or once you're there, to help you sustain it. And I
Right.
feel like having a network of like-minded individuals is only going to add value to what you're trying to do, because you know, it's just like anything. If you got a support system to kind of like check in with, this is
Mhm.
going to be something positive to help you, you know, come up with new ideas. Or you know, like for instance, if we had a big group, we had a big mural project that for one person it might have took, you know, 2 3 months, but if we got, you know, 10 hands or 5 people with 10 hands on deck, we can do it in 1/5 of the time. We can be doing it in a couple of weeks. And
Right.
these are the things that kind of, and that helps everybody that's included within that project, as well as yourself. You get the job done quicker. Plus, there's other opportunities for other artists to shine as well. And one major thing that I would say is when we all were able to go down to Art Basel at the end of
Hmm.
2019
Yeah.
with one person. That'd have been a very like big task to fulfill. But having a whole going down as a whole group, you know, we were able to organize things better. We were able to cut costs in terms of where we would be staying at while we were there. We could all chip in and get things paid for versus just having to be responsible for all the costs yourself.
Right.
I mean, it can be overwhelming, and when you have that group of people there, just like strength in numbers type thing. So yeah.
Yeah. And Kiana was telling me about that Art Basel situation, and really how it it really aligned you guys and put you guys in front of people that you probably would have never seen up in DC. Really on like a global. So yeah, that's shout out to the DMV League of Artists. That's brilliant. It's super brilliant. I wish more of us were able to be collective like that.
That's the goal right there, man. Teamwork make the dream work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we talk a lot about successes in life, and we talk a lot about our wins. But what are some of those? What's the time that you've had to struggle as an artist? You had a challenge that you had to overcome, and what things did you put in place to make sure that you overcame that?
The biggest struggle that jumps out at me is just when I first started. Moved back to DC. I was waiting tables. At the time, I had a roommate, but he ended up moving to a different state, so I couldn't afford to get a spot by myself. So I ended up crashing on one of my homies' couches for a minute, and I just remember being in that space in that small apartment and not even having my own bed to lay in, but I'm still creating. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I'm gonna get myself off this couch. Like I'm gonna figure it out. Like I don't know how it's gonna happen, but I'm gonna definitely like create my own space, create my own way out of here. And so that was kind of just like the biggest struggle that jumps out of me, because I mean, I could have easily folded. I could have easily been like, this is too much. I'm gonna just quit. Like I'm gonna just go back to my regular job. And there was all these things that I could have did, but I didn't. You know what I mean? Yeah. And seeing like fast forward like 6-7 years later, it's like, man. So I wish I could go back in time and just dap myself up, like, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, even though I'm not where I want to be yet, I'm on the right path. And it's like, if I would have quit, I could have easily stopped at any point. You know what I mean? But I kept going. So it's like, it's dope, man. It's just like one of those things that you really can only like feel yourself. You know what I mean? Like everybody's kind of got their own story and how they got to where they're at. And so it's just like, anybody who can tell that story, the most important part is that they kept going.
Yeah, they kept going. Yeah. That's a dope story, man. That's super inspirational too, because we all hit those moments where we're like, oh crap, am I in the right place? Why is this to me? And so, to hear you say you hit that moment and you were like, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and it pays off 6-7 years later. Now you're doing all these amazing murals, getting commission work. So that's dope, bro.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Just hard work and dedication.
Yeah. So what do you have coming up next?
The most recent, or the thing that's coming up next is the DC Auto Show. So I'll be starting that this weekend. So I'll be painting one of the new electric vehicles from Kia. I'll be painting the exterior body of it, and it'll be on display for the duration of the whole auto show, which is 10 days long. And this will be my 5th time doing the auto show. So like last year, because of COVID, it was canceled. So which was supposed to, the year before that, they said that it would be the last auto show that they had artists there. But I guess since they went a year without it, they bringing us back for the the reopening of it. So I got that coming up, and then I have a project with Bradley Beal from the Washington Wizards. We're going to be restoring some basketball courts across the street from Howard University, which is my alma mater. So it's crazy how everything really just comes full circle. I used to hoop on these courts after class.
Right.
Now I get to repaint them, and the NBA players like affiliated with it. So it's just a lot of dope opportunities on the horizon. Put my name in the bucket for some mural contracts, and just waiting to hear back on those. So, and I'm starting to get in the NFT space. So I've been working on dropping my first line and making sure like I'm as much aware of that of what's going on as I can, and doing my research to kind of just stay on top of things, because I still don't fully grasp it, but I'm getting there.
Okay, because I was gonna ask you, like, I'm hearing about these NFTs and I'm doing my research on it, and it's crazy how people are legit like selling digital art.
Yes, and who would have ever thought, but hey, the time is now, and you get with it, or you get lost.
For sure. So like,
trying to get a piece of that cake too.
Yeah, man. If they out here buying this digital art, I say sell it. Yes, sir.
Exactly. Because I can still do the art I've always been doing. It's just
Right.
another tool to the
Yeah.
toolbox. You know?
Yeah.
And
And
something
you
else.
already work in graphic design, so it's just this right up your alley. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So I'm excited. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm excited.
Yeah, yes, sir. Explore every avenue. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So how can we follow you and follow what you're doing?
Well, you know, you can definitely follow me on Instagram.
Okay.
Instagram is SPThePlug right at the bottom, and then that's also my website. That's also my Patreon. It's also pretty much anything online that I'm connected with is going to be under that moniker. And
Gotcha.
so yeah, that's how people can really like. The Instagram is more of, I would say, like a day-to-day view, you know, versus, you know, you can see stuff on the story, my posts, what I'm working on, projects that I, I only put like finished products on my website, so that's kind of more limited view of my gallery. But yeah, I'm definitely I'm on IG the heaviest. Trying to get on TikTok more. I just gotta tell myself or hire
Yeah.
somebody to do it for me or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
But
yeah, bro.
I've always done videos like time lapses and
Hmm.
recording the process. So I just got to get out of my head that it's TikTok
Right.
and just put it out there. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's where people can find me at.
Gotcha. So make sure we support this brother. Yo, get some of his NFTs. Yo, hire him to do your mural. Bring him to whatever city you're in, and make sure we support our own artists for sure. Yo, man, we're gonna play a game called This or That. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna give you words, phrases that two of them, and then you tell me which one you align with more. And yeah, we'll have some fun.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll start off easy. Start off easy with you. Sports car or SUV?
SUV, so I can carry my canvases around.
That's definitely an artist answer. That's definitely an artist. Chick-fil-A or In-N-Out?
You know, I just had In and Out for the first time this past summer, but I still got to go with Chick-fil-A. Gotta go with
Okay,
Chick-fil-A. Yeah.
okay. Boys in the Hood or Friday?
Dang, that's a tough one.
Yes.
I'll go with Friday. I'll go with Friday just off the fact that I probably know more parts of that movie.
Yeah.
So I'll go with Friday. Boys in the Hood, close second though.
Yeah, it's a close second for sure.
Close second.
Would you rather go to a big party or an intimate gathering?
Intimate gathering, by far.
Why is that?
The opportunity to network is there.
Mm,
Usually, it's a little, it's less noise and more like conversations that are actually going to be beneficial for whoever's in the room. And
okay.
big parties, I've never been a really big party person. I just never been like that. So I'll go intimate gathering all day.
Gotcha. I'm just going to preface this next one. That's going to be tough. Okay.
Okay.
Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan?
See, Kobe's my favorite player, right? But if we just talking like, I gotta go with Jordan. Like, I mean, I gotta go with Jordan because I mean, I grew up. Well, I seen Kobe like obviously I was born in '87, so I seen Kobe's whole career.
Right.
But I grew up like really like on like Jordan, like his
Yeah.
shoes,
Yep.
watching
Jersey. Yep.
highlights, the jersey.
Yep.
Jordan was that guy, and then after he left, Kobe was my guy. So
Right.
Jordan was first, you know what I mean? But yeah,
Gotcha.
Kobe got a special place in my heart as well, though.
Okay. Yeah, I love to ask that question. I love to ask that
Yeah,
question.
that's tough. Tough.
Yeah. If you had an all expense paid trip, would you pick Alaska or Hawaii?
Hawaii, I can't stand being in the cold.
Okay. But you live in
Hawaii is
DC.
easy. Take me to Honolulu, Maui, and some more. Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Last one. Would you rather have $1 million in cash or $1 million home?
$1 million in cash.
Why?
$1 million in cash because the way that you can use that. Okay, if you got $1 million home, you got $1 million home. You can sell it. Obviously, it's gonna be a nice house. Honestly, $1 million home in DC might be a little row house.
Yeah, that's true.
but
That's true.
but if you got $1 million in cash, I mean, the opportunities that are there, you could literally pocket half of that and spend 500 on investments and crypto
Right.
and everything. You can easily turn that 500 into 5 mil, in less than a year. So
Right.
give me the cash and I'm gonna flip it.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yo, that was easy, man. That was easy. That's all the questions for this or that. Yeah, for
Yes,
sure.
sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, everybody, make sure you support Shawn Perkins. Make sure you follow him on social media, all that good stuff. Buy, support, buy. Make sure that we are supporting our Black artists for sure. Because he said, as he said, he's a full-time artist. Yeah, he's a
Yes.
full-time artist. Not looking for a
Yes.
plan B at all. Man, thank you so much. Thank you so much, and congrats on being, one of our 40 under 40.
My man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Giles, man. It's a pleasure to be here, and I just feel honored, to be a part of this group. So it's a blessing for sure.
Yes, sir. Hey, everybody, make sure that you tune in to our next artist that we have coming up. This has been 40 Under 40, powered by Urban Arts Magazine. We'll see you next time.